So two marsupial species that were thought to have been extinct for thousands of years have been found alive in New Guinea. So these are species that we knew from fossils in Australia, but now a bunch of researchers have been working with indigenous groups in Indonesian province of Papua to find them alive, which is just astonishing. One of them is the pygmy long-fingered possum. As the name suggests, it's got one really long finger that they think it's used for looking for beetle larvae inside wood. And one of them is called the ring-tailed possum. The other one's called the ring-tailed glider. It's a relative of the greater glider that lives in Australia. It's got a prehensile tail so it can grab onto tree branches.
Well, if you want to sleep well tonight, I think you should be loading your plate with plenty of fibre and plants, and that's according to the most comprehensive study yet looking at sleep and diet. Now, normally this is really difficult to study because it relies on food questionnaires, and that requires people to recall what they've eaten, sometimes over years or even decades, and same with sleep really. But here they've asked people to record in an app what they are eating there and then their sleep has been really quite objectively looked at through an FDA approved device that can break down the different stages of sleep. And what they found is people who eat more than an average amount of fibre, and let's call that 2.5 cups of peas a day, spend more time in the really restorative stages of sleep than people who don't get so much fibre. And people who eat lots of plants fall asleep quicker. So why is this the case? Well, we don't entirely know. It seems to be that fibre gets fermented into a fatty acid called butyrate, and that helps to improve gut-brain signalling in a way that is conducive to sleep. It might also reduce inflammation, which is always a good thing. And then on the other side, lots of fruits and veggies seem to also reduce inflammation. So there can't be many drawbacks, even if you don't sleep better. Most of us aren't getting enough of them anyway.
So a story that shocked me is the fact that tens of millions of people face losing their homes to rising waters earlier than we ever expected. Researchers analysed 385 peer-reviewed studies on coastal vulnerability and found that 90% failed to consider the effects of ocean currents, tides, temperatures, salinity and winds on sea level. So they underestimated the water level at the coast by an average of 24 to 27 centimetres. So once this was corrected, the number of people whose homes would be underwater by 2100 could increase by up to 68%, or 132 million additional people. And the bulk of them are in Southeast Asia and Oceania. So many of the areas most vulnerable to sea level rise are in parts of lower income countries, and researchers don't collect enough data on these countries, so they often fall victim to these underestimations. So it appears this is an issue of climate injustice.